everyone, this is John Barlow with JJ Medicinals. This is video 3 of 3 on the dehydration and tincturization from our dual extraction process. So here's the crepe jasmine. I'll show you a good image of it. This smells so sweet. I'm not even gonna lie. This smells like honey almost. It's so sweet. The crepe jasmine technically falls under the dogwood family, but its alkaloid makeup and the way it works is similar to that of salvia and kratom, which is very interesting. So what we're going to do with this is, we're going to take this, put it to the side, and I'm looking at it and it says 100 milliliters is the maximum that it can take. So what I'm going to do is, to make this work, I'm going to use 70 milliliters of vegetable glycerin. So we're going to add it up to the line. And we're going to use 35 to 40 milliliters of water. Let it simmer and come to a heated bath, stir it up, and then pour it off in there and shake it vigorously. I do plan to let it sit for a while before I use it, so about up to 7 days. When I get the homogenizer back from the other office, I'll be able to show you a better process of actually making this break down easier. But in the meantime, this works just as well. So I'll show you what we're going to do. So we need, I'm going to do 75 milliliters. And just for the happenstance sake, I'm going to add the difference. So we're just under there, we're 75. I'm going to put it up to 110. Now I need to get gloves because I don't really have a scoop to scoop this out properly, but I'll show you. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour this in a little simmer pan. And you can notice the glycerin is thicker, so we're just going to rub our finger across it, get the majority of the excess out. And this is why I add a little bit extra, because the water is going to evaporate faster than the glycerin would do anything. Plus the glycerin doesn't really evaporate like that. That's pretty good enough. But yeah, so let me see if I can show you. So as you can see, the water and glycerin will separate. That right there is a natural reaction. So water is heavier than, or glycerin is heavier than water, so the water will lay at the top. And what will happen is, when it boils, it'll separate, so you'll be able to know it instantly, like I showed you in the first step video, if you go back to that one. So we need this to actually emulsify by reaching a temperature of where they're both almost boiling, where glycerin boils at 210 Fahrenheit, and water boils at 180. So I try to get it in between 180 to 210. So 200 degrees would be ideal, so we could pour this off and help emulsify it better. So I'll show you. So as you can see, I put it on high heat immediately, and you can see the water starting to boil on the outside. Once it starts doing that, to where it's picking up, you immediately pull it off, move it around. And what we're going to do next, let's see, give me 1 second. What we're going to do next is we're going to pour this into here. And we don't need much. What I'll wind up doing is, I don't want to top it off, I just want it to heat up, and I want water in here to help break it down. Because truthfully, this plant is primarily, whoa, forgot about heat and pressure. This plant is primarily water soluble, so it's better to have a higher concentration of water, but so I don't have to worry about mold buildup. What I do is, I'll add another 20 to 30 milliliters of warmed glycerin that I'm going to put in the jar. So you just pour it in here, measure it out to 20 to 30 milliliters, put it in a warm bath with boiling water instead of in the pot directly, and then pour that off into there and homogenize or emulsify it completely all over again. which it can be shaken vigorously, thrown through a blender, or put into homogenization. And yes, each method makes a difference. That's why I do dual extractions and dual methods, because I notice it makes the quality way better on the healing benefits. Let's turn this off. So I just shook it vigorously, and the lid is pretty hot. But now from what you can see, let me show you better. So from what you can see, there are bubbles forming. I'm trying to get you to get better lighting. Hold on. Too much exposure. I'm trying to show you. So from the lighting, you should see how it's turning amber and it's breaking everything down with the heat and me shaking it. But what you're not totally seeing is that there are little tiny bubbles, and that's what I mean. That's what I mean by emulsification. So the bubbles is activating it. That means all the alkaloids are breaking out of the gel and the sap and the resin and actually activating into the glycerin and water, so it becomes more bioavailable. And that's what I wanted, which is why I have to do dual extractions. Now, this I have to let cool to a room temperature before I add the other glycerin. You don't really have to, but it's just beneficial that way because it allows it one more cycle to warm up and then be shaken again before I have to let it sit for 5 to 7 days and put it through a homogenization and then a special extraction that I can't show. And then it's good to go to be put up. And after that, I just have to take the water-based one, and I have an option here, and I think what I'm going to do is I was going to evaporate some, but it looks like the quality is just right, that I can just add glycerin to the ratio and make it stronger, because I also found out I have another crepe jasmine pool for ethanol that I haven't finished to add to this one, and this is the main tincture bottle for the water-based glycerin extraction when it's done. So I don't like to add both of them together. Some plants you can, but there's something very unique about crepe jasmine where you don't want to add it until it's being used, or add it for the last time in combination. But from the yesterday, if you remember in video 2 of 3 for the dehydration and dual extraction, we did the mulaka and extracted it, and I showed you the powder. So the powder should look just like this, like I did with the graviola or soursop here. This is going to be completely emulsified into a tincture soon. But this is the mulaka from yesterday and what it looks like. So it actually has no smell to it, which is interesting. But I'm curious, as since I did an ethanol extraction with the mulaka, I read that mainly almost 80% of all the alkaloids are ethanol or methanol, and I don't use methanol because it's not organic based solvent. So it made sense to do the ethanol extraction first, because if I did a water-based extraction, chances are I'm only getting up to 30% of the alkaloids and benefits in it. But I am getting all the minerals and phytoacids and phytonutrients in it by doing the water-based instead of the ethanol. But, you know, it's a learning process, and I'm still reviewing the mulaka and its benefits through biochemical notes from other biochemists, phytochemists, and different biotech lab studies. Luckily, with the internet and open information, there's a lot of PDF files that are hidden on the internet that have good studies, trial studies, and actual medical backing showing the benefits of all these, but also the phytochemical constitutes and breakdowns of all of it, which is what I've been reading into instead of just, you know, Wikipedia. So I'm trying to learn as I go, and plus everything here I also take on a monthly rotation, so it's only beneficial to get my personal opinion and everyone else's, but when I see how well it works with my friends and with myself, it makes me feel very good to see how much it's going to change everyone else's lives for the better. But yeah, that's how you break down with a dual extraction, turning the ethanol into a glycerin base, and it's a beautiful color. I'm excited to try this out once it settles. It still needs to settle for at least 3 to 5 days. And I still have to emulsify it one more time. But all in all, it's pretty active, and it's going to do the job no matter what. And you only need 1 to 2, 3 full droppers of that. And for those who don't know about the crepe jasmine, it's very beneficial for pain, antidepressant. It helps with cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetes, and parasitic cleanses of the gut. But more importantly, I've managed to get a few people off of Suboxone and Methadone, mixing that with my muscle relaxing herb. It's funny, these herbs don't do so well by themselves, but when you mix them in a perfect combination once they're broken down, they work better than pharmaceuticals. And that's been said to me by 5 different clients, so that makes me feel good. With that being said, I have a very busy day ahead of me. I got the crepe jasmine done, and we'll be doing more videos later to show you the breakdown process of other things. But I'm glad I was able to show you the dehydration and our dual extraction process. We hope to show you more on how to separate oxygen and hydrogen from water by next year once we get the better equipment. And we also are going to have a lot more natural healing methods outside of medications available here over the next 9 months. So please stay tuned, and there's a lot of cool things on the way. I'm glad I was able to teach you. Happy healing. Have a beautiful day. This has been Shaman John with JJ Medicinals.